Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Shaping Your Future weekly video series. Today I want to give you 3 very simple steps to creating a powerful and, more importantly, a meaningful vision of the future. Now, what do I mean by meaningful? Obviously, if I'm saying meaningful, then I'm making the assumption or making the determination that most visions of the future lack meaning. And in a number of ways, I'd have to say that's absolutely right. For the simple reason that we tend to take the present day situation, what's going on around us, and blast it into the future and say, well, this is our vision of the future and how we solve these problems that we are facing today. What we're facing here is really a contextual issue. And what I mean by that is that context is what determines future relevance, future growth, future action. Everything is based on context. If we try to just create a vision of the future based on what's going on right now, without diving deeper into how this unfolds or impacts or creates a framework of what the future might look like, well, then we'll just inevitably make the same mistakes over and over and over again and be frustrated and wonder why, our vision didn't take hold. So this is the first step that must be taken in order to create a powerful and meaningful vision of the future. And of course, keeping in line with what I just talked about, it's about context, creating context. Now, I do this a lot when I'm working with folks through the Executive Foresight program. If you've read my books, you've seen me talk about this. But creating context is simply looking at the way that, major issues, trends, obstacles, things that are going on right now that have a high potential of disruption or changing the way that your business works, how those things, if we do look at how they're evolving, impact multiple facets of society outside of the industry or the sector that they're in right now. So my point is that context must be created by looking at the issues, the obstacles, the things that we are facing today that cause concern, create critical questions, where there's very little definitive answers about how it's going to shape or change the way your industry or organization operates, and look at how those things maybe impact our definitions of the family or community, or how it even changes things like arts and entertainment. Again, as we start to get a more comprehensive view of what the future might look like, we now can see how a context emerges that gives us a much more realistic framework by which we can then move on to step 2. And step 2 is where we have to look at our present day client base, the people we serve, the people that would fit within, if you call it your target audience, and ask real questions about how they fare in this future context. And this is important because the problems that they're facing right now that you may be solving will almost certainly not be the problems that they'll have down the road. In fact, when you go through this exercise, you may find that your client base completely changes, that the demographic is completely different, simply because the issues and obstacles that you're helping them overcome right now may not be issues and obstacles down the road. So that's the second step in this process. Now, the third step in this process is to start to look at context internally. Now, everything that we talked about before is looking at external environmental context, right? Looking at how the world, the outside, is shaping up and creating framework. Now we have to look at the context internally. What is that internal environment? And by internal environment, what I simply mean is the skill sets, the competencies, the expertise that you have on board inside of your organization right now. Looking at that, evaluating that, again, make sure that you separate this from the industry that you work in, look at the actual skill sets and competencies, and look at how those things may help your target audience group or your client base in that future context, how you're able to help improve their condition, make a dramatic improvement in the way that their lives are carried out. If you are able to identify the issues and obstacles in step 2, then now you can start to look at how your skill sets and competencies and expertise may help address those things before they ever actually arrive. The beauty of all of this, of course, is that you're creating a vision. You're not having to put it into action at this moment. You're creating a vision, a story, a narrative about what the future might actually look like. And you're able to trace it back to the present day. Again, not taking the present day and just throwing it forward, but you're able to trace it back and show how it evolves and changes and how you're thinking about these things. This, of course, creates a great deal of enthusiasm. It inspires those both within your organization, outside of your organization, to think bigger, dream bigger, envision what their world might actually look like, because they can see it happening. They can truly envision these things taking place by better understanding how you got to that future vision from where we are right now. So there you have it, 3 simple steps to creating a powerful and most importantly, meaningful vision for the future. As always, thanks for watching. If you'd like to find out more about some of the other things that I'm working on right now, of course, just visit my site, thejarednicholsgroup.com. Of course, I always want to hear from people. So if there's some issue or something you'd like to hear me tackle on video, then of course, please just either reply to this email, or if you're seeing this on social media, then make a comment down below, and I'll be sure to address that and possibly create a video about that as well. All right, have a great week, and I'll see you soon.